And because our power is generated by hydro power, we were also during these years subjected to some of the worst load shedding, where we didn't have sufficient power in our dams for us to have adequate power. So other than the drought that affected our food security, now you are to deal with the energy crisis. Then in 2020, remember we had COVID-19, which shut down economies across the world, and Zambia was not spared. It doesn't matter what measures we did, we are part of a larger global community, and they were promising heaven and earth. So our electorate looked at the state of the economy and the mistakes and weaknesses of the PF, and were attracted to these huge promises that were given by then the opposition, and they voted for the UPND government. So we have to accept the PF lost elections, the UPND won elections. We have to accept we have a new president who has a 5-year mandate. So it's from there that you begin your planning. That what can we do better? What was wrong in the 10 years of the PF? How well did we do in the first 5 years between 2011 and 2016? And how well did we do between 2016 to 2021? By the way, there are many people casting all sorts of aspersions on the PF, that it was a criminal enterprise, that there was a lot of corruption. But the PF did a lot of good for this country. But the unmatched infrastructure.
Can we take away those aspersions that the Zambians have marred the PF in? Corruption, criminal activities being taking place in the Patriotic Front. Can we take away that? I've
always said that the trouble with politics is that you are voted on the basis of perception, not the truth. So if perception form that you are corrupt, and you have not fought off that very strongly, it will stand. Zambians will conclude you are corrupt, because it's based on the basis of perceptions, not the truth. Our people make decisions on perceptions. So if you have...
so those are perceptions, Ambassador Mambo. The PF was not corrupt, according to you.
I've never seen any government that's not corrupt, including the one in the US or Britain. Just now the Prime Minister is being accused of renovating in Britain.
That is not an excuse.
I'm saying there's corruption in every government. So I can't say there was no corruption. That is...
so you confirm that there was corruption?
Like in every government across the world.
But that is not a justification why there should be corruption, right?
No.
Just because some people are stealing...
Zambians are very clear. Let us be clear. Zambians are very clear. They don't want corruption in government, whether in the PF or in the new Dawn government. So if, for example, there are fresh allegations of corruption, for example, in the fertilizer, the recent fertilizer scandal, where an extension was given without justification of $50 million to an existing contract in a single-sourced manner. Zambians abhor corruption. It doesn't matter who does it. The corruption being done in the new Dawn government is as abhorrent as the one that was done in the PF government or MMD government or UNIP government. We have to be very clear. Our people want the issue of corruption done away with good governance in the management of our country. They do not want to trust politicians with power who then pilfer. They want you to come to power as custodians of the treasury. The trust they give you, you should use it wisely, not to abuse resources. So that I have to be very clear. On why politicians keep on engaging in acts of corruption, this is a cleanup we have to continuously do as a people. I disagree in the manner that we've been fighting corruption, because we use it to fight political fights. We use it as a political tool to silence opponents. We use it as a tool for oppression. Fighting corruption requires that we fight awesomely and we secure the treasury. We ring fence it against all acts of corruption and fraudulent activities.
So we can confirm right now that just like any other country, there was corruption in the Patriotic Front.
No, in the government. The political party
led government.
Yeah, the PF is a vessel you use, to rule the country. Yes, I can say that.
That there was corruption.
Confidently, because I have been a supporter of the Auditor General's report. And from 2010 and 2011 to date, you will see the report coming at the end of 2021. You know why? Because we are not fighting corruption. Like I said, we are using it to silence opponents. If we are fighting corruption, we'll strengthen the Auditor General's office. If we are fighting corruption, we will reform the tender process, the procurement process, make it transparent, avoid things like single sourcing, which is even being done by this government. If we are fighting corruption, we'll ensure that every loan that is being obtained is ratified in Parliament so that Zambians are aware that there's a loan that has been procured. And if we are fighting corruption, we will track the disbursement of funds now and see its use now, not coming 3 years later when the horse has already bolted. So both the previous government and this government are not fighting corruption. We have to fight corruption in a way that is internationally accepted.
You served as diplomat in South Africa as well as Ethiopia, and there's been some statements that have been attributed to you where you've been talking about the civil service, which has been politicized by the New Dawn administration. Zambians do remember that how you viciously campaigned for the PF last year. You abandoned your duty post in Ethiopia and came and camped in Zambia to campaign for the Patriotic Front, something which is uncalled for as a diplomat. Many Zambians criticize that move, definitely against diplomatic etiquette. You put party interests ahead of national matters. Do you feel you are the type of leader that can even claim that you come and clean the mess that governments have put in when you yourself you were a perpetrator? Yeah,
so Paul, I participated in the 2015 election. Remember, I used to be a permanent secretary, and then, among those that were retired in national interest, which has become common now, I was retired in national interest as a young man. So I was in private sector, and I participated in that election. When I became a diplomat, I took a back row. You didn't see me in 2016 saying, vote for President Lungu, vote against Hakainde Hichilema. You didn't see me. In this election, you didn't see me on radio, on TV, on your TV, on any other TV, or even on my Facebook page to say, vote for this or vote against that. I didn't. Since 1968, diplomats are required to come and vote. It's a fundamental right. We have not reformed our laws where you can vote at embassies, where the diaspora can vote at embassies. You have to come. Since 1968, you can check the records, and all diplomats, 2015 and whether it is 2016, and even now, all diplomats, they write us a memo to prepare to come, and all diplomats come. It's a fundamental right, and in many times it's done at your own expense. So, but there was a story that all diplomats have come and they're campaigning for President Edgar Lungu. A very malicious story. It doesn't matter how many times I corrected it. Remember what I said about perceptions. If I didn't answer this to you, you'd believe your questions. that I came to campaign forcefully. I abandoned my post to come and campaign. However, there's something I've admitted publicly, that I was given a special assignment by the head of state. And we are given assignments, and the issue was relating to my skills as a media person, that I could come and help government, government media, public-owned media, just consultancy on how they could relate messages relating to the achievements of government. So that was an assignment I had, and it was a presidential assignment, and I did it. But I did not campaign. I campaigned in 2015, where I was campaign manager for media and strategy with the late William Msanda, who was chair of our campaign. May so rest in peace.
There are many Zambians might fail to differentiate what you're talking about the achievements of the government with a campaign, because that is what was happening during the campaign period. So the Zambians out there are wondering what's the difference with campaigning and talking about the achievements of a particular government when it's campaign period.
It's perceptions. We can spend 1 hour on that. I've just stated the truth. Yeah. I uphold issues of civil service very highly. I've been a civil servant myself for the last 20 years. I have condemned this government for politicizing the civil service. I have condemned the appointment of my dear brother, P.S. Akafumba at Home Affairs. He was NDC president. When you hold an active position, you can't be in the civil service. I've condemned the appointment of my dear brother, my own brother, Patrick Mcheleka, who was appointed as permanent secretary at Cabinet Office for Special Duties. He was holding an active position as Deputy Secretary General of the UPND. Those people probably should have been appointed in diplomatic services, maybe as ambassadors, or at cabinet ministry level, as a cabinet minister. You don't bring politicized persons into the service. That have been very clear. We have to professionalize the civil service. And in this case, President Hakainde Hichilema is breaking his own promise that he will help to professionalize the civil service.
Something that the PF also did. Something that you never talked about.
I always talked about it. Goodness, I write. Many people are witnesses to my page. I express my thoughts. Some of my thoughts are not very popular even with my own bosses, but I've always expressed my thoughts.
We never heard you condemn Felix Mtati being appointed in government despite him leading a political party then.
He was a minister. Ministers are politicians. Ministers are, are members of parliament. So ministers, okay. That is okay. They are politicians, but you can't appoint Felix Mtati as a permanent secretary. From permanent secretary level, these are professionals, down to directors and others. And there's that clear distinction. Yeah.
Great. Before I move to issues of the nation, in case you're just joining us, this is the platform. We're coming to you live from our Longeka studios right here in the capital city, Lusaka. My guest tonight is Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, as we discuss state of the nation post the August 12, 2021 general elections. In case you want to drop your questions, comments, you can drop in the comment section on Facebook. We're streaming this live as usual on Millennium TV Zambia as well as Millennium Radio Facebook pages. You can also call us on the number that I will be unveiling very soon on the show. Let's get to issues that pertain to the nation, away from
Thank you, Paul.
From party matters. I first of all want to get your analysis of the 2022 national budget. There are a number of issues, Ambassador Mwamba, in that budget worthy of discussion. The CDF allocation, which has been increased from 1.6 to 25.7 million. There's free education actualized for secondary education, among others. Let me first of all get a blanket statement from you. Is this 2022 budget a progressive budget? Many stakeholders, many analysts have described it in so many ways. Others calling it too ambitious. I would want to get your view first of all.
Oh, thank you very much. The national budget, which is the president's own statement, because the Minister of Finance is a mere bearer of the message of the president. It's the president's own message, because the president has an opportunity to actualize his promises, his aspirations, And the issues that are in his manifesto of the party as the leader of the party, and the vision that he wants to set for the next 5 years. It's difficult to describe this budget in one word. Over 55,000 teachers, according to statistics, that have been trained but do not have a job. We have 11,200 teachers, health workers that are being employed. That is a very good thing. We have another small number in the agriculture sector that will be employed to support extension services, both in maize and in livestock. We have the allocation of CDF of 25.6 million kwacha per constituency out of the 156. So a good large chunk to constituencies and their development. What are my concerns? The budget is 173 billion, which is about $10 billion. The concerns there are very clear. How will they raise $10 billion? When you look at the revenue side, they've tasked ZRA, that ZRA will raise about 96 billion. Then the rest will be borrowed from the market and from bills and bonds from Bank of Zambia. Currently, Bank of Zambia is sitting on bills and bonds with another $10 billion. They will finance. They will open up a deficit of about 6.5%. So it's of worry. Here is a government that said they will not borrow, they will live within their means, that there will be a moratorium on debt, that they have to dismantle the current foreign debt of $12.9 billion that this country owes, and even the other about almost $2 billion that state-owned enterprises like ZESCO. So here they are adding a $4.2 billion debt on top of that. The Minister of Finance has stated that in the recruitment of teachers, 30,000 is going to use what we were given because of the COVID crisis by the IMF, $1.3 billion. He says he will draw some funds from there. Now, that money is, for a balance of support payment, for our import cover. Remember, we were hovering around 1 month, 1.5 months to 2 months with that money that we were given by the IMF. Our import cover rose to up to 5 months. So the minister says he's going to borrow from there to finance the recruitment for both health and teachers. For me, that's of concern. So when you employ them this year and you don't have that money next year, how will you finance your budget? More borrowings. That's what it simply means. Those are the concerns around this budget. My other concern is based on a relationship with the IMF. In the minister's statement, in the delivery of his statement on the floor of the House, he was very clear that this hinged on the success with Zambia clinching the deal with the IMF. And on 3rd December, a month later after delivering his budget, there was an announcement by the IMF and by Zambia that Zambia had clinched that deal and we're going to be given $1.4 billion extension, credit facility for a period of 3 years, that $1.3 billion. No problem. If you are engaging the IMF, they bring credibility to you. Foreign investors that ride on the back of the IMF will trust you. But our concern as Zambians is that we've been on this path before.
When we talk about this is something that even before, prior to the 12th of August, this is something that the PF was also driving to.
Oh, yes. Both from Honorable Felix Mutati, when he was Minister of Finance, my dear sister, Honorable Margaret Mwanakatwe, and Walyangandu, they all pursued the IMF deal. So why are we speaking on the IMF with adverse views? If the views of the PF changed, I think the views of the PF remains the same. But my views against the IMF, especially after I worked with Dr. Chuluba, totally changed. And I've written about it in 2013, that I've encouraged governments to use their own resources, domestic resources, to develop this country, and it can be done. You don't have to rely or over-rely on the IMF. They should just come as support base. So this reliance, where you put them at a central place to make your decisions, is extremely unwise, looking at our history. It's extremely unwise because remember where we were in the 90s when the IMF came. We had over about 245 companies. 245 companies, and a large chunk of those were industrial and manufacturing companies. They were not just trading companies. And you had prestigious ones like Zambian Airways, you know, for the airline business. The IMF said, no, the problem is you are too socialist. Liberalize your economy, remove state participation, remove price control, expand the economy, be like America, then your economy will succeed. If any loss-making state-owned enterprises on your books, sell it, liquidate it, close it. The instructions were very clear. And we followed those instructions to the latter. And what happened? IMF companies associated with IMF and other Western companies first picked the prized ones, like Zambia Sugar, like Chilanga Cement. These were bought by British firms, CBC. You know, the good ones, Zambia Breweries, were picked, and the rest is history. Most of them were liquidated. So where our, like Dunlop, we have a very sad case of Dunlop, Lenco, and other industries, where buyers came and got them for a song and shipped those multi-million-dollar equipment into Zimbabwe and South Africa. So to start an IMF program, because you have a young set of voters that may not understand our history, that may not understand that they are unemployed now because of the decisions of the 90s. At the heart of it, the IMF were there. It's being naive for all of us that have that knowledge. We have a right to blow the whistle. We have a right to call our economists and our leaders to put brakes and say, Because when we did this, Congo, Angola, Tanzania were all coming here. We lost that. The current levels of unemployment, where you have Ndola, Kitwe, and our light industrial, is because of those decisions. So to see us celebrating the IMF, and they're telling you to for example, unbundle ZESCO, and you are quickly doing it without even telling citizens, it's a matter of worry. They tell you close Zindeni, or they tell you turn it into, I heard that it to be a blender for methylated spirit. These are jokes. This is our national strategic industry to ensure that our fuel prices, pump prices, are cheap for our people. Because of our geolocation, we do not have access to the sea. The sea is 2,000 to 3,000 kilometers from Zambia to Dar es Salaam, to Beira, to Nakara, to Durban, to Ovis Bay. We don't have access to the sea. Dr. Kaunda was far-sighted, less educated, but far-sighted than most of these educated people. He gave us a pipeline. He gave us Indeni. What are the issues with Indeni? If it's inefficient, improve it. If the equipment is obsolete, modernize it. You know, I do not understand, Paul, Why we may spend $90 million a year on bringing fuel through Indian and Tazama, but would rather spend $500–600 million with middlemen than look for the money and repair in Denu. We have NCZ. It requires something like $30 million, but would rather spend $400 million on importation of fertilizer than repair NCZ. That can provide seems to be captured by cartels, and no one talks about it. And they walk us through the same path.
Maybe it's
easier
to see things when you are not in the driving seat, because these are statements we keep hearing, Ambassador Mwamba, from people that are not in government. Well, when you are in government, it seems like things change. The reality check kicks in.
My question to that, because I see it very often on my Facebook page, where they say, why are you speaking now? Why didn't you speak then? These mistakes and these proposals, why didn't you bring them then? I see that very often on my Facebook page.
Which is a very legit question.
No, it's lack of understanding. Statecraft is extremely complex. Let me ask this same question. President Haile is making mistakes now. We have tabulated the many mistakes. Who is speaking in his government against those mistakes? If there's violence in Chilenje, you know, if a policeman has killed 2 people in Mandevu, have you seen any member of this government condemn it? Because there's an infrastructure. There is a structure. There is collective decisions that have to be made. And you will not see any of these ministers condemn their own president, his ambassadors, or his permanent secretary. So that burden that is shifted, that you were quiet. For me, I would ask you, the mistakes that are being made now, the minister, you know, the fertilizer scandal, $50 million is not small money. Which minister has spoken against it? Tell me. Why? Because there's a government, their infrastructure. There's probably it has been shifted to DEC and ACC for investigation. Then a report to be tendered to the president. We hope that then the president can make a decision. There is a system.
That is why. Can we confirm maybe these proposals were being made to the government in PF when you served as a diplomat?
Yeah, so in my various interaction when I was permanent secretary, you saw me very active on many issues. Sometimes I came to Lusaka, appeared on radio, and discussed subsidies that were clearly outside my ambit. I've been a bit ambitious. I break the bureaucracy that makes a system, you know, be complicity to these wrongdoings. I have been writing against the IMF from 2013. My recent articles, I had to republish them on my page. In 2017, 2019, 2021. So even when I was in government, I tried to offer both personal and private opinions. And where I felt that I personally needed to posture my own view, I did, and I would put it on my page.
We are taking your calls on the number 0979716731. That is 0979716731. We are featuring Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba on the platform tonight, coming to you live both on Millennium TV, channel 95 on the Topset decoder, as well as Millennium Radio across the various frequencies across the country. Drop your comments. We'll be glad to interact with you. Let's talk about the issue of subsidies. This has been a very contentious issue with various, with the latest now coming in on the waivers. I think you've been very prominent talking about the waiver that is in place right now. Help us understand, for the sake of my viewers tonight, whether this is inevitable. Others said even if PF continued, this was coming.
Yeah. So first of all, I think the minister is very clear, the Minister of Finance. He says there will be no subsidies in 2022. He says he wants to make savings for the budget to as much as possible save resources to finance the social sector and social sector spending. So he has said our electricity must be cost reflective. meaning there's an increment coming. ZESCO, ERB will announce those tariffs. There is fuel. In fuel, my consternation has been that government is failing to explain. It's very simple. There are two types of subsidies there. Number one, to deal with the exchange rate fluctuations, because remember between 2020 and 2021, the exchange rate fluctuated from 12 kwacha, it went up to 23 kwacha. So government provided for some money. Similarly, there has been instability on the world market, where in 2020, the price of oil per barrel was somewhere around $54. It's now hovering around $84. So who then covers that price differential for exchange rate and the world market price for oil? That has been one issue. Some small monies have been spent there. We are told something like $21 million a month. But there's a bigger one. What did the Patriotic Front do? Recognizing the crisis of COVID and recognizing that citizens were in a serious crunch, they couldn't avoid cost-reflective prices for fuel. They removed the taxes. What are the taxes they removed? 25% custom duty, 16% VAT, and excise duty of 2 kwacha per litre. Those are huge amounts. So if the minister says there will be no subsidies this year, we want government to come and tell us that, look, we are imposing back these taxes. What that means is the price of fuel will dramatically jump per litre. That's what it simply means. You don't need to be a mathematician or an engineer or an economist to know that. So the PF government removed taxes. This government is reimposing those taxes. One of the big ones, the taxes, is coming to an end on 15th January. This is the import duty, customs duty. So my question is, will the fuel that will come after 15th January cost more by 25%? These are the answers government ought to come and explain. I have not seen a credible statement from the state, from government, telling us these things. They do not have to come from Emmanuel Mwamba, who's a private individual. The people of Zambia have a government. A government they voted for, it as a mandate. The people of Zambia require this information, not from me, from government. There are various ministries with charge on these matters. So we want the Minister of Energy to come and tell us, colleagues, this is what we found. They know what they found. They've even done audits. This is a state, so they should tell us. The Minister of Finance says there'll be no subsidies on fuel and electricity. And by the way, even on FISIP, because the Minister of Finance has announced that is reducing expenditure on FISIP from 2.8% of GDP to 1%. That's a huge number. So are we reducing the number for beneficiaries of the FISIP program? We currently have about 1.1 million beneficiaries on that. Are we reducing it drastically? What does that mean? These are the answers we want. They help our people plan. They help our people accept. Remember, the state of the economy is bad, extremely bad, by various factors. So there is no fooling around these fundamental issues. And when we raise them, we are not being malicious. It's not that we want to show them as bad leaders. No, they have a duty, obligatory duty, to tell us what is happening, especially to the fuel sector. We had marooned trucks in Chirundu, at Kazungula, in Nakonde, in Livingstone. Thousands of fuel trucks marooned from 1st January. They've just been released now, because I think ZRA were told that the extension goes up to 15th January. So for the next few days, allow the trucks. So those trucks have come in. They will offload. But temporal reprieve In your budget, you have provided for income that ZRA has to earn on behalf of this country. And ZRA has been told, reimpose those taxes. That's what that budget has said. When the minister says there'll be no subsidy, that's what it means. So ZRA has to charge 25%, it has to charge VAT 16%, it has to charge per litre that exercise duty of 2 kwacha and 7 ingwe per litre. So if government wants to privately or quietly, say no, ZRA don't include these taxes so that the fuel. No. Government is not run like that. Tell us, colleagues, we think that the state of the economy is bad. We'll continue with the subsidies. We'll explain to the IMF. Because the IMF have told them no subsidies. Your agreement is going to the board on top for approval. And your assurances that there will be no subsidies, you will reduce expenditure on things like FISIP, and you charge more, you raise more revenue. For example, by ZESCO, it's in bad state, so it has to raise this money. They will not take a report to the board for approval if you are reneging on your word. It's as simple as that. That is why, Paul, we need a strong opposition. An opposition that will raise these issues on behalf of government. A strong opposition. I know people say, no, but PF, there's no one else who will raise these issues for you. And you know, you have civil society that are also complicit. They fought the PF so hard that they are ashamed now to fight the government that they helped reinstate. And they are very quiet as well. So who will speak for you? It's a strong opposition.
Do we have that strong opposition now?
This is probably my participation in politics. I think that I should be part of a strong opposition, that, you know, our colleagues, my dear brother, Harry Kalava, who they are harassing, they've sponsored divisions there, you know, Mr. Fred Membe.
Sponsored, those division DP are sponsored?
Well, the enemies of DP, of Mr. Harry Kalava and his movement, someone has sponsored those divisions. We have, you know, Socialist Party, Mr. Fred Membe, a resilient son of this country, you know, is an activist. So we need to hold hands. My dear brother Sean Tembo, you know, who is very strong on social media like me. So we all need to hold hands and hold this government accountable on behalf of our people.
Let's talk about, I know we have very few minutes remaining before we close the program. Let's talk about the issues of education. And I'm raising this because you've also raised around the matter. I know that 1.284 million was released by the Treasury, where 960 goes to the farmers and 324 million goes to the education sector. This is something that the many Zambians are so happy with when you talk about actualization of free education. This is something that you also commend.
No, not at all, for this reason. This is the lowest allocation to the education sector. The education sector in this budget has received 18 billion, which is 10% of our budget. It's the lowest we've had. We always hover around 16%. So the allocation to the education sector cannot even bring free education. It cannot, because it has dropped significantly. In fact, I'm trying to crunch and research. It looks like it's the lowest we've had in the last 10 to 20 years, of 10%. So look at the budget. It's 18 billion. The budget is 173 billion. That's 10%, 10.4%. So the rhetoric is not matching the resource allocation. The rhetoric is saying we are financing education and we are providing free education. I'm aware that there is 20% of the CDF money. So 25.6 million by 156, you get 20% of that. Because remember the issues of bursaries and, you know, support to both secondary school, those in boarding, and to the tertiary education, 20% to come from CDF. Yes. It remains a paltry amount. So when we say that the allocation to education sector is paltry, it's not that we are insulting. We are basing it on facts and figures. The 324 million allocated is also very small. You have 10,000 schools. Okay, I did something on Facebook just for simplistic purposes that translates to 34,000 kwacha per school. Of course, I was being simplistic. I was just demonstrating how small that money is. Because if it's 34,000 kwacha per term, that's 3 months, you have to divide by 3. So each school is receiving about 10,000 kwacha
per month.
And Paul, I'm not far from it. Because the allocation they've done to secondary schools and primary school, I challenge the Ministry of Education to publish what they are giving the schools. Because you have schools, of course, are varying. Those that have infrastructure development have received something like 400,000, 500,000. Those that are schools in construction or in expansion. But roughly, they are receiving something like 200,000 to between 25,000 kwacha and 200,000 kwacha for 3 months between the periods. This is for secondary school. For primary school, they are receiving something like 9,000 kwacha to 3,000 kwacha for 3 months. What can you do with 3,000 kwacha for 3 months? That's 1,000 kwacha per month. So I challenge the Ministry of Education to publish the breakdown, because they have done the tabulation. They are distributing to the schools. Let the Zambians see the so-called free education. In my view, looking at the resource, first you've allocated the lowest in 20 years of 10%. Looking at the 324 covering 10,000 schools, again, that's paltry amount. I think that we should have done the free education premise in a phased manner. Allow some sort of user fees to be reduced. Remember, secondary schools pay 600 kwacha per year, meaning 200 kwacha per term. For those in boarding schools, they pay 3,000 plus the 600 kwacha user fee. 3,000 to cater for boarding fees for the whole year, 1,000 a month, 1,000 a term. So you have that 3,600 and you have the 600 kwacha per year. So for me, some user fees should have been reduced, maybe 200 kwacha per term from 200 kwacha. So to allow school administrators run these schools, transition it in a phase, and that is not what we are seeing. And by the way, there has been this mantra that we have introduced free education. Let us be very clear. From MMD days, education in primary and secondary school has been free. Except for primary school, there is even no tuition or any fees. For secondary school, it's these user fees of 600 kwacha
so you can't say, year. So you can't say there's been free education when they've been paying that student.
Those are user fees.
Yes.
Yeah. But essentially, for tuition fees in primary school, it's been free for the last 20 years.
I'm picking your calls. The number is 0979716731. 0979716731. For those watching on TV, the number is displayed on the screen. So the Zambians are aware that it has not been free for secondary education.
But the political mantra is that we've brought the UPND new Dawn government has brought free education. Is that true? We have a duty to ask if that is true, because primary school has been free, for the last 20 years. Secondary school, they've been user fees, PTA designed user fees, like I'm saying, 600 kwacha per year. And some incidentals, like if they are building a wall fence, because the grants from government never arrive. So government has now provided some grants and some monies for utilities and others for infrastructure. I repeat, let them publish that.
I heard your thoughts there. You're through to Millennium TV. Your name and where you're calling us from? Your name is? From where? Please go ahead, Mr. Kwon.
Yes.
Go ahead with your question.
Kanawe sabadishani elo mwabombeni.
Awe, nife wetu. Itaifo mneso sawa ambassador kisu masana. Ubuteko ubwari tumakuri fyonke fyo barayiya bena Zambia. Tabakwatagishiri abayishire mu buteko n'obufi. Abayishire. Apa penene barera ndapa ingene. Paminister waso sedo kuti batwatanzia mawekazi bonse. wala bakita fixed mu department yandi na vice president babe parliament same ones kuja kushiku aba bombi bajetegera dinero kwaisa ba minister wala pogera kwa kishoma ero bato wala amaliwo kuti munchi konashipwa ulorera fie amali piro so bali abantu nabo baposa musikiliti ko barekana so mutwalire ko kurandira ofogena zanja mawaga tesho bala kurandira na tote.
Thank you so much. You can also call us. The number is 0979716731. 0979716731. You can also drop your comments or questions in the comment section on Facebook. We'd be glad to read out your question. My guest tonight is Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, discussing the state of the nation. Good evening.
Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba.
Just reduce the volume on your TV or radio sets. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from. You can call back. The number is 0979716731. Mr. Kunda is agreeing with what you...
Yes, the sad story of Indeni. There's no need to lay those off those workers, 327 of them. That's why we are saying government ought to be open with its activities. I've called for the national economic endeavor where we can discuss these policies. You know, the failure we have our national documents because our mid-year term expenditure, our national development plan, we're doing the 8th national development, surprises when another political party wins elections.
Sorry, let me hold your thought, Ambassador. We have a caller. Tell us your name and where you're calling us.
Ambassador Mulelanda Winsan. Ala ubuteko. Ichanta sharing to our in power. Each of our the book of the Chakutila, budgeting the trebles, Yava PF. Idio in the neck on that, Narita Sha. Na pachulu mukula yabantu kwati fertilizer ikabwera pale ina pachulu kwati obunga mukalaje emiko itatu inonshitana abantu kulya kino mukumo ba president balenda dokitaka bireti cyo kiwero inga chipa kyonse cyo balaje abantu bali fumako nomba budget yabwero yaisa bale ina pachulu kwanda kwati ba pia bali kongole Vale amba fio kuteka na nande teta bali ba Kongole nkongole. Ndakutira bunera ndokatichara nachi kwatiko kole. Uchimwala Kongola pona shimbi shani pamulu. Pasho mugweteshe munetifu ayo kutira mu chifuta. Aba bantu kwena na febe na Zambia mulo mofira bala ndiro kwati weko ni chinshi cha kulia ati mo andera yo ineuka kulia na tasha bamwa.
Thank you so much, Mr.
You know, Paul, just to support if you are Machina Balanda, there's two sets of narratives.
Just before you respond, let me pick up my last calls on the show. Good evening. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Good evening.
Yes.
Good evening. You reduce the volume on your TV or radio set.
Hello.
Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, how are you?
Tell us your name.
I'm Francis calling from Dola.
Please go ahead, Mr. Francis.
Hello.
Go ahead. We can hear you loud and clear. You can call us back. The number is 0979716731. I'm picking my last two calls on the show tonight. You wanted to respond to your machine.
You can pick the calls and we wind up together.
Great. 0979-716731.
Yeah.
Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you so
Hello,
much.
good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, how are you?
We are very fine. Please tell us your name and go ahead with your question or
Thank you.
contribution.
Sweet boy in the line, I'm calling you Dini Lusaka.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Bamwamba Mulishani.
Ndifye wino kana wesa barishani.
Yeah, my name is Sweet Bush Mnenge. Sweet boy, I'm calling you Dini Lusaka.
Go ahead, Mr. Sweetbo.
Bamwamba Mulishani, we know that? Bamwamba nga twalolesha. Mware teka, mwari mu buteko. Bamwamba. So, efyo mulera ndakwebatiyo obuteko tabuli gwino. Pene, ero bwayise obuteko bukiri fiena namyeshifi erifo mwamba okudandawula. Imuntu tetawupa omwana akashi lero awupa mayiro akwata n'omwana amba okuya ku sikulu awe tekwaba efyo bamwamba nangu imwe lirya mwafumisha emyemuti tanga kirefye parapene mwamba okukita ebintu byosa mwafumye emyemuti mu 2011 mwayisa akinja endalama mu 2012 mwabonaga then bamwamba nga twatuloleshe bamwamba efyo mwakita imwe papiye fukwebatiibukisha imwe paru enufye ndikinshi mwamona UPND alileta free education mwamona imwe mupiye kumalifiwa okuleta free education abantu balecula kuyunza abantu barelwa barelira nanikane meal allowance mwamona lero barelira na bazari tamwe abapere then lero mulelishana kwebatiyo obuteko bwabufi twalileta free education lyendalama mwale tulipirisha abana besu 200 pe dem ero pe 600 twali bebati lyendalama baleshite fyakulya n'okukita amabuku y'abana ba school nombe eto mulefu ya benshi bamwamba tupeni ko chance na ife tubombeko bayicheti babombeko nabena babombera abana Zambia imwe bunga malisa kufisha na 200 load shedding yali pamushi. For conclusion, my brother, load shedding yali pamushi for 3 years imwe under PF. Elo amakadas benu bare uma abantu apa mpera na freedom mulelanda pali ponse imwe ba mwamba abantu ku 5 FM bare ubwa ngaya tiyo opposition bare uma bayete kundwa bakumire pa mutende mwamona mwiyala befiru bafyo mwapangire muleta ora chat lekene chechela isa ateke pona ena mumumone mube wani elo mala mune vindio pyala tinga mwamona budget yari yenu apero ile tampa lekene abantu bamone ko ine batuletere ine baretere mkomponi ko bati tumone pe ala bomba.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sweetbo.
Bengi shefinto abantu bateshani babombe na bena mwamona so bamwamba imwe mupera 10 years iye niyo mwabombere ni nani wale mkani okubomba pa 10 years na ife barekeni bahetete babombe kona bena 5 years.
Thank you so much.
After 2 years.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sweetbo. You can also call us on the number. Let me pick my last call. The number is 0979 716731 0979 716731. You can also drop your questions or comments on Facebook. Good evening. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello.
Evening. Tell us your name. We can hear you loud and clear.
I can't get you. Can you get me?
I can hear you loud and clear. It's good to hear a female voice.
Wonderful. I'm following your program. Very interesting. I'm not a politician. I'm still working. However, I've worked with Mr. Mwamba, a very intelligent man.
Tell us your name, ma'am.
We managed to work on some issues in relation with issues when he was in Northern as the PS over the Maristop matters. I think he remembers. We must have followed him even the time he was in Western Province. So I have a cordial relationship. And what I feel is Mr. Mwamba is very intelligent, and I would have wanted him to continue working with the government of the day. And for me, what I feel is the government at the moment, I've seen they've got an open policy. I'm sure whatever is being brought out, if I've noticed, I follow certain forums, I see they act to whatever people bring out. And it's brought out quite a number of issues about making whatever is being discussed, which are pertinent to the welfare of the country, to be opened. But what I feel is he's been in government and is a very proactive man. I would want him to join the team and see how he can help them on a one-to-one. I think the whole purpose why he's speaking, he wants a better Zambia. We've had almost, I think UPND must be, is it the fourth party? We've had UNIP, we've had MMD, we had PF, now we have UPND. So I'm sure he's seen the trail of each government coming in, and he must have really a good pool of ideas, which I think we wouldn't want them to be wasted despite him being in opposition. And for me, I feel we are doing this for the betterment of the whole country. And I've always commented on certain comments that even the ruling party should be able to listen to the opposition. Certain points are good. As much as they're in opposition, they bring out certain things, even Mr. Zero, as they call him. For me, I feel certain points that he brings out, people should pay an ear. We shouldn't just take it as a joke. President Sean Tembo, he does bring out certain issues that are for the betterment of the country. So I think if there was a way for me, if all these leaders would come together, if President Hakainde would bring these other past presidents together and just look at what have we done right, what have we done wrong, what can we do better going forward. I think the joy will be for the Zambians. It won't be glory for Mr. Hakainde and his government, but it will be the better Zambia. Whoever will come to take over will say, yes, we did play a part. It's just like when you are in an organization. The one who takes glory, yes, is the director or the head of the institution, but each member of that institution plays a role, including a sweeper. If it's in a hospital, even that person who mops and cleans the dirty stuff in the sluice room has a role to make an institution smell nice. So I think even as opposition leaders, you have a role to just go and knock on these offices. I'm sure Mr. Kainde will be very happy to meet you one-to-one and say, sir, we have these things that you've spoken about. Can we get a clear picture? I think that's the way forward I would like to bring out. And thank you, Mr. Mwamba. Always like listening to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nkasi, and thank you very much, and God bless you. That was
my last call for tonight. My producer is telling me we have a number of phone calls coming through, but time will not allow us to pick. I opened the phone lines a bit late. But let's begin with comments from your machine, Mr. Mwamba.
Yeah, there's a narrative that the UPND found empty coffers, that there was no money, money was stolen, or money went to debt. That's not true. Because how have they released the money for pensioners? It's a PF budget, PF resources, PF targets from ZRM. How have they released CDF, 2 sets of CDF in 2021? PF budget, PF resources, PF vision. How has the president traveled internationally? Because there was money, there was no empty treasury as you were being told. So of course, you know, they're a new government. Everything bad belongs to the past government. Everything good belongs to them. That's why they are celebrating. When they pay 2,200 pensioners, they celebrate with paid pensioners. But the PF has dismantled from 22,000 pensioners to now the only outstanding is 2,300 under the public service fund, the PSPF, Public Service Pension Fund. We had 22,000 pensioners and retirees that were not paid. It has been dismantled. The remaining 2,300 they've been budgeted for in 2022. But the glory, they want to take it like it's the first time that pensioners are being paid here in this country. We're not. So Wamashina brought out a very good point that can the UPND live up to its promises, because they are increasingly becoming liars.
Mr. Sweetbu, brought very interesting.
Yeah, Mr. Sweetboo, I want to change his name to Mujende. So that is a powerful boo. We've never seen a boo that is sweet. He says we should give the UPND space and we should allow them to work. The PF worked in 10 years. That War Mujende, Mr. Sweetboo, will be the death of democracy. We have a duty. We don't have to wait for the mistakes to accumulate to the proportion of the mistakes of the PF. No. As the mistakes are being committed, we alert them. As the money is being stolen, we alert them. Maybe there could be some recovery. You don't come 10 years later and say you stole money. Where will you find it? It's gone. So we want to put them on the toys, and we want a thriving democracy. That was our aspiration for our leaders. That's why we came into multi-party democracy in 1991.
The lady from Northern Province is asking for you to collaborate.
I love the proposals. You know, the Mary Stops case she raises is when I stopped an international organization that was conducting illegal abortions in this country, up to 300, I think, per month in Northern Province. It was a very international case. That organization remains here. So I'm glad that someone who we collaborated with that time says I should engage. I have no problem engaging in this government, but let's structure it. Parties have the infrastructure where they meet together. At summit level, the president can call political parties where all of us, as members of the opposition, can go and meet the president. I do not subscribe to my great ideas to go and sneak them under the night to a president, because then I'll be accused of looking for a job or favors. There are structures we need to strengthen. If it's collaboration, if Emmanuel Mwamba has raised an important issue, maybe call Emmanuel Mwamba with other people. We lessen these suspicions that is in politics. The manner in which we do politics is in a very suspicious environment. If you meet a UPND member, a PF member meets a UPND member, and the UPND member has a senior job, they can even be fired. So the retrogressive nature of our politics, we need to raise the bar. We need to raise the standards, because all these engagements have to be done for the benefit of our country. So I like her proposal, but I'll propose structure to such proposals. Maybe where the head of state meets his colleagues in the opposition every 3 months. Say, guys, we are here. We think we are piloting this country very well, but you might have some concerns. What are your concerns? You meet for 3 hours once in a month, once in 3 months. That helps develop our democracy. Our democracy is extremely confrontational. That's why it spills to political violence with our supporters.
Can you accept an appointment in the UPND government?
No. I'm going to lead the PF, to help lead the PF, bring it to election in 2016 and displace the UPND. That's a goal.
No ambition.
No, I'll say thank you very much, but no thank you. Now, but speaking on behalf of Zambians.
What would be your way forward politically in an event that you don't get the PF presidency? No, our contribution to this country doesn't end at leadership. Our contribution to this country, I'm here. I have no position in the PF, but I'm contributing to the good development of our democracy. I will continue to participate. I have had a rare opportunity to serve in these various positions. The wealth of experience I've gathered, I think, is for the benefit of Zambians. That gave me the opportunity to serve in these positions through the various presidents and heads of states that have appointed me in those positions. So in an event, let me just get this clear, in an event that you don't get the PF presidency and President Hichilema offers you a position in
I'm a journalist now, you want a sound bite. I have explained that my role at the moment, I want to participate in the growth of democracy in the role from the opposition. I'm not looking for a job. I have decided to go into politics. I have tried to go into politics since 2015. You are aware about my political venture, but for various reasons, one way or another, I didn't succeed because I wasn't given an opportunity. Here I am. I am now ready. And I think it was for good reason. I've been away from this country the last 7 years. So I've been like an impartial observer to the mistakes of my own party, the PF, and the mistakes of the New Dawn government. I'm in a better place to speak and speak clearly on all these issues without malice. I've said that we will not come to media to discuss personalities. I will not come to media to insult anyone. I will not come to media to denigrate or ridicule or scandalize people. I come to the media to discuss issues, national issues. That way, I think we'll do our politics totally differently.
You've always eyed Kasama. I don't know whether in future we are likely to see you there in case you don't take the PF president.
Well, you never know. You never know. There is no problem in being an MP, also being an opposition leader. There is no problem. Both can be done.
Ambassador Mamba, thank you so much for finding time to come through on the platform tonight.
Thank you very much. It's so long. We've waited for long to come to your audience, but I'm so grateful to management and to yourself. And it's been very engaging. You've, I think, asked most pertinent and difficult questions, but you're doing it on behalf of your listeners and TV audience. For that, I applaud you, and I'm grateful to the people of Zambia that chose between football and ourselves, and then they chose to speak to us. That I'm greatly humbled. Abaledi Mabonse, our farmers, there's some rain. It has come late, but there's some rain. It's not too late. Let's plant. So that we don't have drought, we don't have food insecurity, we don't have hunger across our country. So to the farmers,
my guest tonight was Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba discussing the state of the nation on behalf of the entire production crew, and of course my producer Peter Stadi. My name is Paul Shingongo. Blessed night.